All right, guys. So, what we're gonna be doing is just gonna be making a fall kind of base-ish. I wouldn't say fall, but it's more of a. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. Maybe a little spooky to it, little rundown. So these are all the materials we're gonna be using. This is the foam sheet from Woodland Scenics, typically used for train dioramas, but you can also use it for basing, provided and I guess terrain, provided that you seal it properly, and I'll teach you how. And yeah, so we have tufts here, and then battleground dirt, or you can just go to your backyard, grab dirt, moss texture from AK, and finally we have the mini. So basically, I want you to grab your mini, whichever it may be, put it on a board. I'm assuming a lot of you have foam in at your home, on and whatnot. Just put it here in the corner, and then basically we're just going to be approximating how big we want our diorama to be. That's why I'm putting it in the corner, so it's the easiest to cut. About maybe, yeah, this big. Not too bad, roughly even. There's a little bit of a extra piece here we can just maybe cut if we care. I don't really care, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so I'll see you guys outside for priming. Oh, and I've used the foam board, but you can really use anything you want. Thick old boxes with the flaps that you're not using anymore, cut those up. Foam, again, you should have a surplus of it if you order a lot online. Yeah, that's about it really. All right, to properly seal a foam board, you're gonna need acrylic primer. There are specialized ones like the AK Battlegrounds or primers that are foam safe regardless of distance you spray at, but any acrylic should in theory be okay. And the reason why I say that is because if you put it too close and spray, the aerosol inside it will actually melt the foam board, and it's not actually the paint itself. So you want to spray it at a healthy distance, preferably 4 inches and higher, 4 or 5. So yeah, let the priming commence. Shake it really well and just prime away. 2 thin coats should do it, and this is to protect it from protect the foam from painting that will melt it, or gluing, super glue and whatnot will melt it too. Don't overdo it as well. So yeah, that's it. That should be it. Actually, I kind of overdid it there. And you can see what I mean. It's starting to melt in that little corner. That should be okay once it fully dries. It's only a little bit of aerosol got to it, so it's a little bit of damage there, but that should be okay. So I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll do another coat of it from way higher, and yeah. So now the board is kind of dry. What we're going to do is just liberally applying this brown battleground as kind of like a first base layer, and then we apply pink flowers in between that, and same with the moss texture. The moss texture and the battleground will kind of be like the ground of it, and then we'll fill in with like little gaps here and there. So let's grab any glue that you can find. Typically Elmer's should be okay. Okay, all of our Elmer's are out, at least for the back, so we can't really take it from inventory. So we have BSI, which is CA glue, basically super glue. This should definitely do the trick. Do it kind of like that, sporadic, and then apply, and then apply the moss as well. And then just kind of spread it around with your fingers. Don't be afraid. By now, all of the super glue should have been covered by the material, so you don't really have to worry. Though do still be careful. Don't touch. You don't raw dog super glue. All right. Continually repeat the process till quite a bit of the board is covered. The final step will be applying the tufts, just so you can place it nice and neatly, you know. But I would say not in a pattern, because nature doesn't really grow in a pattern, you know, unless it is intervened by, like, oh sorry, unless they get intervened on by like humans, I guess, working the fields and whatnot. Oh sorry, camera angle. All right, that's about it. All right, so yeah, your base should roughly look like this. And to be honest with you, you can completely end it off right here. Just glue your mini at the middle here with a super glue. And yeah, look, it kind of fits the theme of it. But we're not done yet. We're gonna spruce this up even more, I think. So next step, grab whatever tufts that you have. So we're gonna go for a little bit more fantasy flavored things. So a pink flower sheet from Gamer's Grass should do it. Maybe like 5 or 6 of them should do, maybe a bit more. Up to you, really. There's really no wrong or right answer to this. Completely depends on you. If you want an entire flower grove, go for it. But yeah, typically these are adhesive backed, but if you want a more secure adhesive, just use super glue or whatever glue you were using earlier. Typically basing glue should do it, which is just Elmer's anyway, or super glue if you're gonna play with them later, and show it off so they don't fall off. So yeah, that's about it. All right, I may have gotten carried away. That's quite a bit more than the 6 I told you guys I was gonna put, but I think it turned out well. The final step is just to plop this on here, and that's really it. And actually, we can do a little bit more than just plop it. Well, you guys will see. What we're going to do is sprinkle a bit more moss and battleground so that the base actually is kind of camouflaged and covered, making it seem like a little bit of a raised ground, but eliminating the base look of it. So we do not get any sort of hard transition from the foam to the base. It's going to be smooth and seamless. So just, I already put super glue on the sides there a little bit where it's going to be most obvious, and just go ahead and start sprinkling again. Look at that. She's perfect. She's perfect. It's beautiful. You can't even tell where the base is anymore, really, unless you look really, really hard. You can kind of tell there. I'll cover that, but otherwise, it's beautiful. And the random pillar from Gamer's Grass once again, and then the moss on it definitely adds character to the entire diorama. All really that remains is well, 2 things. First, the first one we can accomplish right now. The second one you'll have to do on your own. First thing, we'll just trim the edges a bit. We can just cut it with a cutter. Just be careful. If you're a kid, please ask. As I was saying, camera cutout. If you're a kid, please ask your parents to do this step for you. Don't play around with knives. They're no joke. And then the second step is to find a acrylic setup or acrylic display where you can put maybe like a glass cover on top, so it's its own little kind of, well, ecosystem really, and then you can proudly display it in your case, not online, in person, you know, at home. Or I guess for this little guy, when we move into the next place, when we have display spaces, we're gonna display it where the D&D minis are. Perfect. Look at this. She's nice and beautiful. Oh, I'm falling in love, and it's not even a real thing. All right.